I was just talking to number 89 about what happened recently. I told her about you too, Kaima. Alright, Rokuko. Come here for a second. Ma'am, please excuse us. I pulled Rokuko away and started whispering to her. How much have you told her? I just got to the part where the bandits were all about to die. Oh, and I gave her a melon roll, too. She really loved it. Rokuko let out a girlish squeal of happiness, clearly pleased that her older sister enjoyed her gift. So I thumped her on the side of the head. Oh! Why'd you do that? Rokuko barked at me like an angry dog. Has scratched that. Big tits or not, she's still more like an angry puppy. Listen up. Stop telling her things she doesn't need to know. She might be our enemy. And no matter what, don't tell her anything about my golems. But number 89 definitely isn't our enemy. Who taught you the absolutely incredible battle strategy of summoning nothing but goblins? Number 89. Who told you to use DP only to summon monsters without ever expanding your dungeon past one room? Number 89. So? Are you really sure she definitely isn't our enemy? But. Alright. So basically here's how it is. Dungeon core number 89 wasn't letting Rokuko grow as a dungeon, while, simultaneously, her own dungeon was shooting up through the rankings. There was some connection there, and it was very possible that she'd be getting in our way from now on. Rather, she would probably eliminate us the second she could if we ever get in her way. Number 695. Will your secret discussion be over soon? I would like to join you too. Okay. We're coming right over, number 89. And yet, Rokuko still looked happy after dungeon core number 89 called out to her. Yeah. If I hadn't used my absolute authority over her as dungeon master, she would have spilled the beans instantly. Though it was still possible that she let some secrets leak. Whether or not I have absolute authority over her, my order wouldn't mean much if she was letting things slip unconsciously. So, what happened to the bandits after that? Rokuko glanced at me. She must not have known whether or not it was okay for her to talk. So, I answered for her. As you can tell, they were massacred. The band of knights took care of them, then? Yes, that's perfect. But I must wonder how much DP they were worth. Judging from the reports, you two must have earned at least 10,000. The reports? What do you mean by that? Sorry, I don't know too much about you. I imagine not. You were summoned here from another world, after all. Guess Rokuko already told her about my summoning and all that. Allow me to introduce myself. Dungeon core number 89 straightened her back and, with a hand on her chest, introduced herself with a clear voice. I am Dungeon core number 89. A prior master of mine called me Haku. I know that humans prefer such names over numerical designations, so please feel free to call me Haku as well. I manage the Ivory Labyrinth, located within the Liverio Empire's capital city. Dungeon core number 695 is my little sister, as you know. It is a pleasure to meet you. Dungeon core number 89 smiled gracefully at me. Haku's a lot shorter than Dungeon core whatever, so I'll roll with that. I responded to Haku's greeting in turn, taking care to speak with enough gravity and weight that she wouldn't look down on me. Indeed, it is nice to meet you as well. My name is Kaima Masuda. Please call me Kaima. I have been working as the dungeon master of your little sister's dungeon, the Ordinary Cave. I pray that we can work well together. Oh my, you are quite the polite one. I am impressed. Hearing Haku say that made Rokuko panic a little. Should I introduce myself too? I am Dungeon core number 695, and... we both know who you are, so... Oh, right. We gotta get ready. Some adventurers are coming. My. Are you perhaps worried about that because of this? Haku took the Ordinary Cave investigation quest slip out from her cleavage. Why was she keeping it there? I mean, why does she have that? Haku quickly answered my question. Despite my true identity, I am also an A-rank adventurer, a position I exploited to get my hands on this. The knights from my country gave their report on the Ordinary Cave, and I couldn't help but come see things for myself. So do not worry, Kaima. You'll be fine for at least half a month now. Haku smiled, as if saying the situation was entirely under her control. She was right. No invaders would be coming for our dungeon anytime soon. Excluding the two in front of me. By the way, Kaima, may I ask you a question? Sure. What's up? The smile vanished from Haku's face. Are you a soldier of God? I felt a chill run down my spine. A soldier of God. No idea what that means. Some god talked to me while I was being summoned here, but I didn't become his soldier or anything. I did meet someone who claimed to be a god, but I don't remember him talking about anything like that. I see. As if satisfied by my answer, Haku resumed smiling. I could almost feel the atmosphere warming back up. Forgive me, but I used magic to determine whether or not you were lying. You seemed to be telling the truth, thankfully. I was worried about you ever since number 695 told me that she had summoned you from another world. When did she cast that magic? And that kind of magic even exists? Makes sense, I guess, since there's a magic tool that does the same thing. Now then. I would like to have a conversation alone with you, Kaima. Do you mind? You can wait here with Chloe, number 695. Understood, my lady. Come with me, princess. I followed Haku as she distanced herself from Rococo and Chloe. Of course, Meat stayed behind too. Yeah. This is pretty dangerous. I didn't notice until she stood up, but Haku has absolutely incredible feet. Crap. I can't stop staring at her feet, even though I know I'm in danger here. Her Vietnamese-style AO dye dress hugged her body perfectly, showing off all her curves. I could see the outline of her feet through the thin cloth of her skirt each time she took a step. I want to look under her skirt. I want to take off her shoes and get a good look at her bare feet. Now then. Haku turned to look at me after we had walked a fair distance. The fact that she looked beautiful just turning around really helped me understand why Rococo looked up to her so much. And then, without missing a beat, she said, "Would you please relinquish your position as dungeon master? I'm afraid I can't do that. The beds in this world suck way too much. They're like, unforgivably bad. I couldn't live with them. I'm not gonna quit being a dungeon master, it's the only way for me to get futons and even better beds. Sincerely though, what have you been doing to my cute little number 695? How dare you defile her as you have? If you won't quit being a dungeon master, then please at least relinquish your absolute authority over her, and then kill yourself immediately." Isn't that basically just me quitting being a dungeon master? I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I mean, I wouldn't mind giving up my absolute authority, but suicide is a bit much. Oh my. I like your cooperative attitude. But will you truly give up your authority? I imagine you've already ordered number 695 to do lewd things with you, yes? And then you ordered her to forget all those inconvenient memories. You're just doing whatever you want with her. You humans are all the same. Hold on a second. I didn't do anything like that. Humph, I wonder about that. Your species treat we dungeon cores like toys, giving us orders like slowly fall in love with me over time and marry me. I didn't even realize what was going on until he died. I can't trust you humans at all. I thought I taught that to number 695, but she still. Oh, huh. I guess that's what happened to her. She might not have meant to actually say that out loud. I don't have any interest in non-consensual stuff, so yeah, I'll give it up no problem. Very well. I will have you remove it while I watch. Wait just a moment. In other words, you are interested in her as long as it doesn't involve your absolute authority? Just what do you intend to do to number 695? You've got a pretty strong imagination, huh? She was just making up false accusations as she went along. Well, whatever. There's just one thing I want to make sure of here. Haku. Are you Rococo's enemy? I have no idea what you're talking about. In what world would I ever be number 695's enemy? So we're gonna be playing that game, huh? Why did you teach those battle strategies to Rococo? Those battle strategies? I'm afraid that I taught her so many things, I don't know precisely what you're referring to. I decided to take things step by step and ask one specific question at a time to ensure I knew what was going on. Okay, first of all, why did you teach her to summon goblins specifically? Goblins are the most efficient monster for a dungeon as small as hers to summon. Even if she were to summon a strong monster, she wouldn't be able to maintain it for long. Smaller monsters don't require much food either. Makes sense. Goblins are pretty efficient. Why did you teach her to summon monsters all at once using as much DP as possible? There is undeniable strength in numbers. A strong foe can be beaten by many weak allies. Additionally, there is not a single dungeon core alive who would prioritize DP over survival in a dangerous situation. That's true. There's no point in saving your resources for later if there won't be a later. Why did you teach her that building rooms was a waste of DP and that monsters should be prioritized? Rooms can't defeat invaders, can they? Victory can only be obtained by summoning monsters to defeat invaders. She's right. No matter how many rooms you have, you need some kind of offensive strategy to ultimately win. In that case, why didn't you teach her about using traps? Most of them can only be used a single time, which isn't very cost-effective. And to make matters worse, you can place very few traps in a small dungeon. Traps that can be used many times are quite expensive. Makes sense? Alright. I think that's enough questions. All her advice makes perfect sense from the perspective of this specific dungeon. But remove one condition and all the advice would be completely worthless. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. Now what I want to know is, how did you make people view her as a safe, harmless dungeon? Yep. The condition was that Rokuko had to be a dungeon managed by humans. In any other situation, invaders would destroy the dungeon core as soon as they defeated the goblins. After all, the ordinary cave had in fact been just an ordinary cave with a core lying defenseless in its only room. Oh my, you've figured it out, have you? Well, the answer is simple enough. I personally created both the Liverio Empire and the Adventurers Guild. Rokuko was established as a safe dungeon because I willed it. I had more or less noticed that already. It didn't take me long to realize that she was a big fish in this sea. Ah, and by that I mean both among humans and among other dungeon cores. Oh my, you don't seem very surprised. I mean, you mentioned receiving a report from the knights earlier. You had no intention of hiding your true identity, did you? Well, no. I didn't. Haku smiled and laughed a little, visibly pleased. So, why did you try to ensure that the ordinary cave would stay weak and small forever? Because number 695 is cuter that way. And I want to protect her. That's why I panicked quite a bit when I heard that she had been occupied by bandits. You want to protect her? Why? Well, she is my cute little sister, you know. I yearn for her safety so much that at first I thought about placing a guard by her entrance to prevent anyone from invading her in the first place. But that would just attract unwanted attention from the soldiers of God, who would proceed to hunt her. That's why I instead focused on making her as invisible and forgettable as possible. So? Is that satisfactory enough of an explanation for you? Am I satisfied, huh? Why are you hunting other dungeon cores? One of the knights had said that one needed to destroy a dungeon core to become a holy paladin. Which, of course, had to be a system that Haku set in place herself. She was protecting Rokuko while actively attacking other dungeon cores, and I wanted to know why. Wait. I wonder if she knows that her little system there nearly got Rokuko killed when the knights were here. That has nothing to do with number 695. If I didn't hunt other cores, the soldiers of God would hunt me in turn. She was doing it for her own sake. That was very easy to understand. Makes sense to me. Very well. Is there anything else you want to know? I'll answer any questions you have, while we're here. That's pretty nice of you. Any particular reason behind this streak of kindness? Yes, well, consider it a reward from me. I heard from number 695 that you made certain every single one of the dirty bandits that stepped on her died. You made sure not a single one of them survived. This is my thanks for that. If even a single one had gotten away, I would have needed to waste my time hunting them down. All right. May as well use this opportunity to ask about holy paladins. By the way, did you know that one of the knights that came here tried to destroy Rokuko's core? I heard. I gave special treatment to the 17th Knight Platoon, and yet their report mentioned one of them trying to swing their sword at number 695. Can you believe it? My goodness, I will never understand how you humans can be so simple-minded as to not understand how lovely and cute and perfect number 695's core is. Naturally, I'm having them all executed. All of them. Of course, I can't mention number 695 in the official charges, so I'm planning to forge evidence indicting them all of treason against the state. The true treason would be punishing them with just a pay drop despite how grave the crime of attempting to destroy number 695 is. That makes their executions lawful and just. I suppose that they are currently returning to the capital with no idea of what awaits them. This woman's messed up in the head. And she's so stupidly powerful she can easily destroy people's lives if she wants to. What kind of politics involves executing an entire platoon of knights? That's just scary. Oh my, do you think I went too far? Not at all. Oh, by the way, the knights left early out of laziness. They said adventurers would take care of any stragglers for them. Was that in the report too? It seems I have another crime to charge them with. I kept my cool and played along with her. I'd be in danger myself if I disagreed with her too much. But either way, I felt like I knew her a little better after all that. I was pretty confident she wouldn't end up becoming Rokuko's enemy. Everything she did was for Rokuko's sake, after all. We should be safe as long as Rokuko doesn't try to hurt Haku for whatever reason. You don't seem to be a useless man who just sleeps all day, so it might be wise for me to recognize you as number 695's dungeon master for now. I'll spare your life at the very least, as thanks for doing so well in saving her from the bandits. Sweet, I'm gonna survive this. I feel like she's looking down on me pretty hard, but whatever. As long as she's not my enemy. I mean, her feet are super pretty. There's not a single bad person in the world with pretty feet. Actually, sorry, that's not true at all. There's a lot of villains that like to step on people with their sexy feet. Right. Very well. Let us have a dungeon battle. I'll recognize you as her master if you can defeat me. Ha! There's another word I don't know. And my tedious radar is beeping like crazy. Please no.